What's up, everybody? It's time again. Wolf of Walmart here, and I know you guys have probably heard me complain. Where's my chair? Oh, there it is. My garage is a mess, and our shed is a mess, and me and the wife have agreed in a couple weeks we are going to gut everything and readjust so my wife can get a little weightlifting area up in the front of the garage. I'm going to be moving a lot of my stuff back further, so yes, I'll have more room to work on the kayak. It'll be great, but I'll be getting rid of a lot of stuff, hopefully. So that was a side note, sorry. So I know you guys have heard me complain a lot. I mean, I'm sure you've heard me complain a lot about my garage too, but you guys have heard me complain a lot about floating around like a leaf, like having no control, like trying to figure out how to stay in one spot or this, that, and the other. And, you know, the layman's answer is, you know, get spot lock or a trolling motor, or, you know, get a pedal drive and, you know, like one of the Hobies with the two handles, or, you know, the Native with the one, you know, pedal drive, something. You know, everybody's got this advice, but the simplest advice that I've gotten so far is get an anchor. And RVR is set up for an anchor wizard. Like, the anchor wizard system is, that's goals. That's goals, folks. Like, I wish I had that kind of money. Like, that would be great. I could adjust, you know, because as you can see, like right here, I have these yak packs and my yak power cup phone and the cup holder. Well, actually, my yak gadget cup holder is pretty much out of the way. It's pretty good. But you know, there's going to be, you know, stuff that needs to move for me on both sides, because I have rod racks on the other sides, both sides, for me to have those anchor wizards. And, you know, I was talking to Troy down at Kayak City, which something fun in the works over there, guys. But he was saying, just get the breakaway anchor. And I'm, well, what's a breakaway anchor? You know, because he was saying, hey, dude, if you're in current, you know, tidal fisheries and such, and something comes floating down the way, which happens all the time, and in like a 19 to 21 foot bass boat, it just goes dunk, and then the stuff floats on by or whatever, you know, or we try and adjust to ground it because the trolling motor. But if I'm anchored there in a kayak, it's a different story. So especially with the anchor wizards, which would be awesome, because I'll crank my happy little butt off if I ever got some. I can't afford that. And it would be really hard for me to, you know, crank them both up and like get hit by something, you know, and you know, it's not a good idea. So Troy advised me on the breakaway anchor, and I looked at him like his skin was purple. I was all, breakaway anchor, really? Well, Yak Attack makes one. I got it at Kayak City. It's called the Yak Attack Heavy Duty Lever Lock Anchor Trolley. So what it's going to be is a cable that runs the length of my kayak, bolted to the side of my kayak with two pulleys. So with this D-ring right here, this is where you attach the actual anchor itself. This D-ring will run along the pulleys, right? And so there's a couple reasons for this, and I'll get into that real quick before we get started. The D-ring runs up and down. So if I don't like where I'm anchored, there's a little cable lock system right here, because the cable's actually gonna be running through here. That's open, that's closed. The cable's pinched right here. It's a tighter space. It's pinched and locked down. Open the cable up, run the cable with my hand, because there's, you know, just two pulleys. Run the cable. The D-ring will move, so I can move the anchor to the front of the boat, and I can swing out this way and stay where I want to be, or move it to the back of the boat and swing out this way according to current. You know, I can adjust myself while staying positioned, not having to pull up the anchor, not having to move. Now, yes, two anchors on the anchor wizard, front and back, that would keep me, you know, pretty good. That's not going to happen. This will fix that problem for me, though, really quickly. And it is very affordable if you guys are looking for a good anchor that's affordable. Now, when I say breakaway, because this is what Troy explained to me, because I did not know this, so this is just me parroting information to you that I didn't know, that if you don't know, now you will. You put a carabiner or a clip on this hook as it goes, so the anchor is going back and forth wherever. If said debris, like I was saying, comes floating down the line, I don't want to lose my spot. I tie on this side, or, you know, on this, I can do another clip with a D-ring right here a piece of pool noodle or a flotation device of some sort, small piece of flotation device, so I can unclip the anchor, have it clipped to have the carabiners clipped together, unclip the anchor, the flotation will stay there floating. The anchor's still down there. I can drift off my spot, avoid the giant deadly log, because that's what I'm using in this scenario, is a giant deadly log full of scorpions and snakes. And as soon as the log is passed, I can paddle back, grab that flotation device, clip it right back onto my boat, and go right back to fishing right where I was. And then when I get tired, just pull up the anchor. Done, ready to go. It's hard to find a lightweight anchor. I'm looking. I found these giant 10-pound anchors. I'm like, I don't think I need a 10-pound anchor. Plus, I don't want to be like letting the rope slide through my hands with a 10-pound anchor, all day. That not very fun. But like, a 5-pound anchor would be good. Just real easy. Let it down. I can pull it up 2 hands, keep moving, or break away, come back, clip back on, then pull up. Like very possible scenario. So yeah, that is the system that I'm going to use, and that is what I'm going for. So I'm going to go ahead and set up, like, these are the pulleys right here. These are pretty sick, but that's actually the inside, so it bolts to your kayak this way. So the cable is behind this. The cable will never come off the pulley because it is bolted to my kayak, which is, well, extremely important to me and personally. Like, I want everything hard mounted and I want it on there and I don't want it going nowhere. Now, having said that, this will be a penetration to my boat. So what do you think I'm going to do? Well, I know what I'm going to do. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. How's that sound? Instead of asking you questions that you can't answer here on YouTube. I'm going to make sure that when I pilot hole and I put the screw in, when I go to put the screw in, I'm going to put a dot of silicone on each hole. So when I screw the screw in, it gets sealed with that silicone. So I don't have to worry about any type of water getting into my kayak. Now, this kayak actually has a bilge port back here, which is really sick. Let me just show you. Bilge port right here. So if I ever need to do anything, I can always unscrew and drain out the entire interior of my kayak, which is great. Hope I never have to use it. And that's why I am going to be siliconing every single bolt that goes into my boat, because I don't really feel like slowly sinking. That is a scary thought to me. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is what I'm going to do today. I had other plans to do something else. Life comes up, life hits you, and you just kind of roll with the punches. So we're going to be doing this today, and hopefully I can get to that on Monday. Hopefully I can get it all ironed out and done and looking gorgeous on Monday. It's going to be really fun. It's a build that I've already done, but I did it without the camera. Like, I did part of it with the camera. Like, me and my buddy Andy, we sat here and we worked on it and just tinkered away. It was kind of a spur of the moment. Let's just see what this is going to look like in the future. And we ended up drilling holes and doing a bunch of stuff. And yeah. And then, the next night I was talking to, Matt Souders and Brad Hicks on the chat. And, I was, asking them questions and check this out and this, that, and the other. And so I kept just doing a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And the next thing you know, I have my sonar and my transducer completely mounted and fully functional. I don't like where the transducer sits, how shallow it sits inside the kayak. So I am actually going to be dropping the transducer a little bit and also redoing the entire build so you can see it from start to finish fully assembled. And so there's going to be some changes. So unfortunately, I don't get to give you all the learning curves and the oops and the sorry. There will be some of those, though. I guarantee it. There will be some of those because I'm changing a couple things. But it will basically be its own individual, separate sonar, battery, transducer, completely separate. I can completely disconnect it from my kayak and take it. Say I go to a hotel, say I'm traveling with a kayak, which is, I don't know if I'll ever do, but if I do, I can bring it in the hotel with me. There's one less thing that I have to worry about somebody trying to get their little grubby hands on. Also, I just like the cleanliness of it. I like the way the build goes. I don't want all the extra wires. I'm going to have tons of wires for lights and everything else because, lights are a requirement for sure. But I don't feel that I need to add extra wires for said system when I can just make it mobile. So it's going to be pretty awesome. and I'm really excited for that. But for now, anchor. Let's do it. One more thing. I also, which is really rad, thank you, Alex Rudd. I got a new GoPro from Alex Rudd. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you for that. It is a screaming deal, and it was really awesome. And I'm going to probably be using it for this build. Just, you know, because I don't want to be... there's no way that I can carry this iPad that I usually film on around. Yeah, I film on an iPad. Around while I'm doing this, because it's just kind of bulky and out of, you know, in the way a lot. So start the reactor. What movie is that from? Oh, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were actually talking about that movie, and it really made me happy in my soul. Okay. So I'm thinking, because I don't want to go all the way to here and then all the way back around because of the shape of the kayak. So I think I'm going to keep it more to the main hole area, and I'm probably going to go from here to here with the pulleys. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a whole lot, but I have a feeling that that'll be enough swing for me. Cable, D-ring, bolts, pulleys. And then this is the guide for the cable. So I'm guessing it goes down because the cable needs to pass through. So this is probably the top end of the cable to keep the pulleys, you know. So it would kind of line like that. That's my guess. I'm going to read, but then I'm also going to, you know, do this. And then I also have to figure out where I want this, because I want this like... Oh, it says unlock lock. That's cool. Because I also want this very visible and where I want it. You know, like easy grab, quick grab. And I got a lot going on right there. So I might actually have to move something, which would really disappoint me if I had to move something, because I really like where everything's at right now. But hey, you know, you win some, you lose some. So let's go ahead and get this started. As I suspected, I am one bolt short. I have one long bolt. So I might do some adjustments. Like I might put a long bolt in here just because of how much tension I'm going to be pulling and pushing on that thing. It just might help. I know that there is these backers, right? These backer clamps for the HD kit, which is, this is the HD kit, but I can also assemble it like a normal one. Where I can use a through bolt system where these have nuts in the back. And they got nuts in the back of it. And I can bolt there, right? And this would be on the inside of my kayak plastic, and then the kayak, and then say the, you know, this guy would be out here. Well, it would be like this, but then this guy would be out here. I could do it like that, but I'm not necessarily there yet because I don't plan on using a heavy-duty anchor. So I'm just going to keep going with what I got. You might ask me, Dave, what happened to the kayak? Well, I'll answer you. I played a bit of pretend kayaking. Like a grown man. I got on my... Setup is still so solid, so light. I got my kayak down on the ground, and I got myself, there we go, inside my kayak, sat in the chair, feet on the deck, you know, the whole nine. I'm just trying to readjust it so I can work on it now. I need to build a table for this. I had a table, but it didn't work out right, so it's gone. I had it on the ground, sitting in it, reaching through everything, reaching around, making sure that everything was kind of set-ish where I want. So when it comes time to actually do this, because I'm afraid of overlapping the hull here, like I might create some sort of, you know, hot spot or hole. But I don't want to... What I don't want to do is like... Well, I don't want to make a hole. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to rub a hole in the hull. I don't necessarily... I think that this is pretty reinforced, so I'm not super, you know, skeptical about it. It's more just a fear factor of me diving in and doing it. But I have certain things like this ridgeline right here. Initially, I just wanted the pulley from here to here, because this is all one line, and I could anchor it all in and do it. But I can't access here, from here, and here, from here, with my arm. Like I wouldn't be able to get the part in there and then still come through and screw what I needed to screw. I mean, I'm going to try a couple more times just because I'm really interested in putting it there. I'm going to try a couple different methods. Magnets may or may not be involved. But I don't want to lose something down in the hole because then I really don't have any other access to go get it. You know, I got this port, that port, and I have a port back here. And that's it. And other than that, I am, you know, kind of limited on how I could dig in there. Now, I'm sure that the pros have a better way of doing it. I am not a said pro. I am just a guy. And so I'm going to do it how just a guy would do it. I'm going to get it as close to here as possible. And then I have these clips right here that I could run accordingly to keep the cord more controlled off the along the pulley system. So that's what I'm going to do. So first things first, get the junk out of the way. Then to work we go. Also, I did find out that when I go and figure this whole mess out, I'm actually going to bring it forward more, but I subtracted one of the arms in here. I took it out because it was so tall, but now I can actually locate it and kick it forward, and I don't have to kick it forward on the pod, which is awesome. But that's a whole nother day. You know, I got some bigger SD cards. Just, you know, that needed to happen. Oh, wow. That's my rudder. Got some bigger SD cards, assuming that that's what I'm looking for. ADD squirrel. Assuming I get longer life. No. So I get for not having magnetic fingers. These are here. Can I reach all the way over there? I totally barely can. Okay. Now this one is a little bit harder. If you see the hole and the shape of the hole, for me to get over there, I need a full arm's length almost. And I just don't have that. Yeah, I get to here. That's really frustrating. Okay. So this one's going here. It's going here. See that'll bring the cord straight way too. It'll be fine right here. No, it won't, because this is way too high right here. That's going to be an issue. I don't want to. I mean, maybe I could get there with this on somehow, some wild way. Nope, I'm right there at that. I am right here. So I'm basically same spot with either hand. You know, this anchor wizard just keeps looking better and better to me. Just nose goes, just drop it down. I can put it right under there, but if I put it under there, then I have to move my rod rack. And everyone's like, oh, just get a yak pack and, you know, put a box back here and put all your rods in that. If you want to pay for it, I'm down. I cannot do that, you know. I'm not rich by any means. I just wish I could just get past here, because all I need to do is get here. Right here, you know? And I can only get to here. I mean, I know that doesn't seem like a lot to some people, but I don't really want my clip off-centered. you know. I've already given up to the fact that I'm going to rip up my Dark Horse tackle sticker, and I'm super bummed about it. It's my last one. I wanted to make it count, so I put it, you know, right there. Now, great thing about this anchor system is, even if I end up going with another anchor system and this isn't what I want to keep, or, you know, something comes along that works way better, etc., 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 I can always leave the pulleys and the cord here, because couldn't hurt to keep, you know. All right, I think I've talked myself off a ledge enough. I think it's just time to pull the trigger and start punching holes. This job that I did. Boom. 7:30 seconds. That's the one we're gonna go with. I was like, I knew I had something around here somewhere. I like the quick change stuff. Just makes it a little bit easier for me when I'm changing bits out and drills, so I don't have to have 2 drills out all the time. But I'm definitely going to double check all the holes and the thicknesses and all that kind of stuff before I really get into it. Because if I'm doing a thread through, well, that's a whole new ball game. Because I was really just going to put a dab of, you know, drill the hole and then put silicone in it and then screw in. But if I have threads that go off to go all the way through and I put silicone in that, that's going to thread the whole thing together. So, and because it is not a hex head, it is a, shoot, they are Phillips tips. That could end up stripping when I try and take it out later, and I don't want to have to cut it off. It's all good, because you live, you learn, and if I got to cut it off, I can patch it on. So I'm going to tell you, before we get to this whole 7:30 seconds 3/16 issue. Union, I'd put a 3/16 hole right through it and throw this thing in, and I have a feeling it would be tight, but it would fit. So let's go ahead and just go off my experience and see what a 3/16 looks like. 5 3/16. Yeah, nope, it's 11/64. Excuse me. There we go. 3/16. So 3/16 is smaller than 7:30 seconds, but only by a 32nd, and really that's a lot tighter fit for this bolt. I understand why they want to use the bigger bolt, so you have a little bit of playroom either way. I might still go with that, but I can start with the 3/16 and end up with the 7:30 seconds if everything doesn't line up properly. So let's go ahead and prep all this stuff and get it ready, and I'll get right back to you. Right out the gate, I'm already noticing an issue. I don't have enough panel depth. Does that mean I have to put it down here? And if so, doesn't that mean my rope's going to be in the water most of the time? And do I really want to reach down there to tow the rope? But at that point, I wouldn't have to worry about these hole issues, but can I access it over there is the question. And if so, I might just stretch it out a bit and run it back. So, yep. Oh, I'll take a look at that. One part I forgot. Oh! Well, that's very nice to know. That is not going to help me at all. I thought this was a hull access. There is no way I can get this pulley in. Okay, guys. So after much contemplation, after finding out that down in this plate there is no access port, which I thought there was, I have no in-hole access to over here, which is where I need to put the anchor system. So right now I'm going to hunt down my drill I moved my phone a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I had it on the outside here, but I couldn't get this thing. Once I got it off, I couldn't get it back on because it took me and Andy to get it on there in the first place. So I'm just gonna leave it off. Anyways, so I'm gonna go take a look on the other side as soon as I find my drill. I set it down somewhere. I always set that thing down. It's almost random. There it is. Over here, having a mod party. Not like the music mod people, but you know, modification. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. I don't know if this is gonna fit me well with the phone right here, but we'll see. I'm not super sold on this phone system anyways. I mean, sold on it because it's sitting here, but I mean, there's like the quad locks and all that kind of stuff are out there. I'm not sure yet. So, but point being is, you know, I also, you know, just thinking maybe get one of those Rogue straps and strap it right to me, you know? I don't necessarily need a mount. It would just be nice on those long days. I could throw it on the charger because I'll be messing with it a lot. Actually, no, I probably won't. Like, if I'm messing with my phone when I'm fishing, like, okay, so I can see through here, and I can see, I don't know if you guys can see, but I can see that's plastic down there. So let's take a look at this thing right here. Let's see what we got under here. You know, it's funny, it's like I've had this kayak for a while, and I've never really just taken it all apart and taken a look. I have a feeling that this has to be some sort of hull access in order to maintenance this. Just trying to, you know, boom. Yep, in hull access. Now, there's a lot of water in here. I mean, not puddles, but it's all condensated water. Like it's water on the top of the kayak. Yeah, it's all condensated. Yeah, see, like that. I mean, this is a great in-hull access for where it's at for this. I can't run that anchor line across this, first off. I'm going to have to get this boat back in the water and see how far down I actually get in the water with this hull. See if I can run it maybe on the underside a little bit. Back to the drawing board for anchors. I mean, like I said, they just make the Anchor Wizard so, I mean, it's a good product, and it's probably definitely worth the value. I'm not saying anything against what it is, but I mean, just for the average guy, I don't think I can do the Anchor Wizard. I just can't. If anybody out there's got an old one that they don't want, I would love to talk to you, and you know, but I can't go out and buy stuff. Here we go. We're all buttoned up. Everything's good to go. Looks like the anchor system is not going to work, so back to the drawing board with that. I might talk to Troy and then, you know, over at Kayak City, maybe on Monday or something like that one, and figure something out with that. But for now, yeah. So I tried. I mean, by trying, if there's one thing I've learned in construction over the years is that you always got to stay at least 3 steps ahead of your work before you screw something up. So take everything into account. Take everything apart. Disassemble it mentally. Reassemble it mentally. Imagine, picture, whatever you got to do. If you got to draw it on a piece of paper, draw it on a piece of paper. So that way when you have a finished product, it looks exactly how it's supposed to. There was no way I was going to be able. It's not so much the pulleys, because the pulleys, you know, they're pretty narrow. It's the backer plates that you need to use for these pulleys. It's either this or it's this, you know, whatever it happens to be. And it was either too shallow right here for me to put it so it wouldn't go up. So I flipped it, went down. Well, at that point, this is so recessed in that that plate would never bolt in properly. Well, it's not like that. It's more like, you know, this. So that plate would never bolt in properly because it'd be applying pressure and pushing either out on the hole, on the hull, no matter how hard I tightened it. Like if I tightened it, it'd be pushing more on the hole, or it would just tear a hole in the hull with the screws pulling through. So I could either straight screw it to the hull or not and figure out a different anchor system, because the straight screw to the hull would be nice if I knew that the places that I was going, the current and or tide and or, you know, constant boaters wouldn't rip it out of the hull with the anchor versus the kayak, you know, in the water. Because I mean, you put weight down here and it's holding tension on something up here, and I'm all the way extended out here. That rope is tight pulling against these screws. All it takes is a good wakeboard boat, or, you know, somebody up on plane cruising by hitting me broadside, and that would put that rope, say I got snagged on a rock, bunk, and then I'm popping pulleys and I got holes in my boat, and if I'm offshore of it, it's not a fun experience. So back to the drawing board. I'm gonna look up some more anchor systems and see if I can't come across something that's a little bit more useful, or maybe talk to Troy and them or a couple other people and see if they take a look at this hull, like where I could put it and still have it accessible. I need to get this thing back in the water, because I mean, I do have a little bit of a, you know, a muck line. I mean, this is my water line right here. Like I'm that far in the water. So at that point, being that far in the water, I don't have a whole lot of room to play for an anchor system on this thing, you know? So if the anchored wizard's the best option, it's the best option, and I'm just not going to have an anchor. I mean, I don't really have, you know, I just can't do that. I just can't. So, yep. So this was an utter fail. This is me being disappointed and still spinning gears in my brain at the same time on how I can try and make this work, you know? I don't give up very easily, and I don't like losing. So like in my brain, as I'm discussing this with you right now, I'm having multiple alternative thoughts on how I could possibly make this work, and go, oh, you know what, guys, let me get back to you and like hit the pause and run a couple measurements and run a couple numbers and make a couple marks and see if that'll fit. And it's just so perfect example. When I started this afternoon, it's dark outside now. That's a glass window to outside. It's dark. So that's just to let you know how much like mental I went through. I would love to put that on video because I know people really like the content, but if I put that on video, one, it's embarrassing because of how ridiculous my brain works and how much thought I put into some stuff, because I'm an overthinker. And two, it would just be really, you know, kind of annoying after a while to a lot of people for me to just be like, oh, well, this you don't want to hear that. Trust me, you don't. So yeah, I just saved you guys, you know, the couple hours of mental toil and gave you the highlights and, like this, the lowlights on what happens sometimes. And this time I lost. I don't like that, but it is what it is. So thanks for, you know, sticking around. If you stuck around, I mean, I tried out the new GoPro today. We'll see how that worked when I get all that video footage in, and I'm gonna go do that tonight and figure that all out. And yeah, thanks again. And hey, like if you like it, don't if you don't. But leave me a comment either way. Let me know what you're working with. And I know I talked earlier to Binya, so Binya, I'll be reaching out to you, man, because I'm stuck. Thanks again, Nat, Brad. I mean, I literally direct texted them while I was doing this, trying to figure it out, and they did their best to like give me their 2 cents, and I appreciate it. So, yep. Bye.